688 pages.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
What you wrote?
I'll send you a copy tomorrow.
What you wrote that in 3 days?
No, 3 months.
You was typing one book in one hand and writing with another, and then listening to a book while you were writing two at the same time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a lot of this information was already in my head, obviously from over the years. A lot of financial understanding, a lot of financial practices, and how to combine the spiritual practices and metaphysical world with understanding how to navigate the financial matrix. So I said people need to know how these two things actually go together. You're being spiritual over here doesn't mean you're supposed to be over here and be broke because I'm spiritual. That's just dumb. Because if you're spiritual and you understand spiritual practices and understanding the metaphysical world, that means you should be walking in abundance 24/7. You should never have a want for anything because you should be able to wield the power of the universe in your favor. So that's why I decided to write this book, because they have this thing. This guy's got a Rolls Royce. This guy's got a nice house. This guy got money. He ain't conscious. Sorry, it's actually the opposite. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're going to be conscious, you're going to be talking about the light is in you, the power is in you, and we got all this power, but you can't manifest the light bill, then I'm sorry, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in the dark if that's the case. But, it's funny because that's the same connotation that comes with being independent, that there has to be a compromise of quality of living. Just because you haven't sold out doesn't mean you haven't sold anything. You know what I mean? So if there's if there's a commodity that's good for people that evolves them, that's always what I've always wanted to make money off of. If I'm going to make money off of people, it's going to be off of evolving them, helping them get just as much money as I'm making. So yeah, it's great that you're sharing that and also breaking that, that narrative that just because you're aware means that you can't get any money in this world or this realm, or you have to be satisfied with struggle or not being comfortable. And that makes no sense. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. And I think it's good that, and again, as an independent, I've always made sure that I lived where everyone that's not independent lives, that I have the same cars and the same things, and my kids go to the same schools as people that aren't free thinkers, that have soul out. I got everything they got without any compromise of quality of living or having to give away my integrity. I just had to stand by my principles. But I want people to see how aspirational that is, to really believe in something fearlessly and fight for it and not be told what to do or be expected to be given anything. Fight doesn't always mean broke. Fight usually comes with, if you're fighting for the right reasons, it comes with the wealth that you want, but you have to be able to visualize what you want as well.
Exactly. 1,000%. I learned a lot from you too, man, because I like to learn from everybody. And, I remember the first time I came to your house in Beverly Hills, you were so nice to even invite me over to your house. The first time we met, you hadn't even met me in person yet. And I remember pulling up to the house and, because in my mind, it was this preconceived concept that was out there in the mainstream media and the streets, Dame Dash is, he lost it, he's broke. And I'm pulling up to this house, it looks like a hotel. And I come in your house, and just as simple as going to the bathroom, what really stuck in my brain was that your bathroom throwaway towels had your logo on them, your insignia on them, And something like that, some people say that's mundane, but no, for me, that really impressed something a little extra on me about self-branding, self-love, self-dignity. I see these little things, what I'm saying? I see how you do everything is branded, your own brand, everything is your own. And I had been working and striving towards that little by little, but you helped me take my brain to even another level, understanding where it really should be in terms of self-branding. I really appreciate you for that, man.
If I could teach you something, and I've done something, that's a stat. And I appreciate you noticing that. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I thought you knew everything. You know?
You gotta, life is a consistent process of learning and evolving, and I think people who think that they've gotten to the top and they know everything, I think they become stagnant and then they fall off,
Absolutely. It's all about evolution. The minute you think you know everything, that's when you realize that you're really dumb. You know what I'm saying? That's what it has to be.
Yeah.
And someone smart knows that there's so much more to learn. Every time you open one door, there's a whole other door that you want to unlock, Like even in the way and the things that you've taught me about what everyone's now talking about. You know, it's crazy because a year or two when we first met and you're pulling my coat to all these things that are out there that people already know that aren't saying. And now all of a sudden UFOs is a daily thing. They talk about it every day on CNN, on regular news. They warming us up for the truth. But, it's, you know, my man was in here today, Tak, and I was telling him, I was like, you know, it's crazy because I always feel like I know, you know, I always find out stuff before everybody else. But you see, I was telling you about all this UFO, and now every day the government is admitting, you know, Trump's last thing was to release all of those files. But, you know, I feel like I already saw some of this shit Billy showed me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just funny how, you know things early or you learn things early, and it's usually that's what's there in plain sight and hidden, but in plain sight. And all of a sudden they tell you when they feel like it, as opposed to you just realizing and understanding and knowing that nothing's a coincidence. This shit is going on. You know, it's just logical.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's so telling how far ahead we usually are. You know, like you're a futurist, I'm a futurist, and so a lot of the times we come up with these concepts and ideas, and both of us have been able to be successful. Now, you've been successful on a much different level than me. I'm catching up to your level, or trying to catch up to your level, but I've had a significant.
We both have Rolls Royces. We both have the same cars.
We both got Rolls. You got on a nice watch. I got on a, you know.
Yeah, we all good.
You know? Yeah. You know, so we doing okay. You know, but it's like. But we're future thinkers. And what I like what you said earlier, the fact that, you know, I'm in a neighborhood now where I got a pilot, a dentist, a doctor, you know, attorneys on my block. And I'm here in this house on this block with these people who've gone the conventional route. And there's nothing wrong with that because we need those people, obviously. But I'm very proud and happy to say that I got here the unconventional way. And I got everything that they got and more. And I did it my way, and that gives me a level of satisfaction, the same as it does you.
Listen, I already understand the level of satisfaction. Yeah. It's a priceless satisfaction because you know that you're intact, that you never had to veer away from who you are to get where you thought you had to go. But another thing that people don't do is they don't dream. They don't know how to visualize. They don't even know what their dream is. So I am around highly intelligent people, principals, doctors, and they are very savvy and can speak intelligently about everything. But the one thing that stumps them every time is, what's your dream? And when I say what's your dream, not that society is good and all kids eat. I have to always say, what is your selfish dream? Because you cannot help anybody unless you can help yourself, you know? And if you are helping people, it should not hurt you. So you have to have enough to eat and enough to be able to feed without having to be hungry, you know? But you got to dream and be able to visualize it and, you know, also articulate it so other people can have the same dream and y'all can all come together and focus energy on the same thing till it becomes tangible. But a lot of people don't know how to dream, bro.
Yeah, they don't. You know, the thing that I heard the other day in this documentary was that the first 7 years of a child's life is the coding and programming they get that projects their entire future. How they think, how they feel, how they react, how they dream. Everything is based on that first 7 years. So I think that the powers that be have done a phenomenal job in inserting the type of negative programming and stuff that hinder or hold back or oppress our real capability to dream, our real capability to be ourselves by putting us into these institutions like school and, you know, all these other things that they plug us into.
That's the program. They put you into the program to control the masses. See, what I'm understanding is the world wants to, the masses are very scary, you know, to the people that are trying to control them, because if the masses stick together, that 1% is over. So from the day you're born, you're programmed on how to be controlled and be a part of the masses. So, you know, I work with a lot of principals in OSG, 90 black principals. We talk about curriculum. We talk about so much. But the things that aren't taught in school is they don't teach you how to be rich.
Right.
They teach you how to have a job. They don't teach you capital gains because they don't expect you to be able to have it. They don't teach you entrepreneurial shit. They don't even teach you sustainability. They don't teach you how to grow food, you know. And you know what else they got to start teaching? Space travel. How could you not be teaching space travel right now?
Yeah.
That seems like that might be the biggest industry is getting off this planet in a minute.
Yeah.
You know? So logically, when, you know, the people aren't dumb. They have to know that these things are necessary. They also don't teach you how to pass laws. They have to know how these things are necessary. They're not teaching you on purpose. You know what they teach you? Either you learn how to have a 9 to 5, or you better learn how to entertain us 1% by playing sports.
Right.
Or you go to jail. And they don't teach you, you know, when they offer the sports to you, they don't teach you any of the jobs or anything that happens around it. Administrative, coaching, scouting, owning a team. They just teach you how to play for the team. Knowing that 99% don't make it. Mm-hmm. And again, if you're not prepared to get the job, then they're building a jail for you. You got a cell for you. And that's a program. Either you're to break a social class, either you're entertainment or you got to sell drugs. And that's how they make it. And the selling drugs is not sustainable, so here's another sell for you.
Exactly.
You know?
That's how they do it, man. And they've been very successful in doing it, and that robs people of their ability to dream for anything. They just get plugged into this, you know, this crazy system, man, you know? And I'm just so glad, man, people like us, we've been able to see beyond that. We've been able to re-encode ourselves from an early age and not fall victim to that programming code. And so to people out there on the outside, sometimes we look like crazy fanatics or whatever you want to call it, but we're actually the normal ones in a lot of ways, and we're trying to drop the seeds of reality to help snap people out of, you know, where they are. But some people don't realize that they're suffering from these epigenetic memories from their ancestors. Mm-hmm. And they're living out even some of their ancestors' turmoils and tortures and torments and PTSD and suicidal thoughts and depression is all inside their body. It's been passed down from generation to generation. It can last up to 20 generations. Mm. And the only way for people to break out of this is they have to begin this through positive affirmation, speak positive on themselves, believe in themselves, start to dream, start to believe that anything is possible, you know, that they can achieve. And, you know, that's what, you know, some of the things that we've done together, like even with having the mystery school at your Dame Dash Studios and things like that, trying to get people to snap out of this fallacy, this illusion, you know?
I mean, they've done a good job. The programming has been deep. But the one thing I know that they teach you from the day you're born is to be scared to die, even though you're going to die. You understand what I'm saying? It's like fear is implemented in you the second that you're born. And I don't even think fear is a natural emotion. I think it's artificial for control. You know, I look at my puppies, you know, my animals. No one told them about death. They have no idea what it is. That's why they're not concerned with it. They're fearless. They're not scared of anything, you know, because no one taught them fear. If no one tells you about the bad shit, you ain't going to be worried about it. So in order to be worried about something, someone has to tell you to be worried about it. You know, most of the things we're scared of is not instinctual. It's not instinctual to be scared to have bad credit. It's not instinctual to be scared to worry about what other people think about you or not to have a job. That's implemented. No one's like my daughter's scared not to go to college. She's scared to have a bad grade. I pay the most for school, and I'm the one to be like, play hooky. I don't care. But she's like, no, I got to go to school. I know what college I'm going to. I'm like, you're 13. How do you already know all these things? Because you've been taught to think that if you don't do what they say, how they say, then you're doing something wrong. If the 9 to 5 American apple pie dream, where you work your whole life and only relax when you're 65, if you don't do that, then you've done wrong. And that's the reason why most of the world is depressed. Almost everyone I know has to take a blue pill once a day or some kind of pill to be happy. And it's the matrix pill.
Yeah.
You know, that's why most of this world is depressed.
Yeah. You hit it right on the head. I mean, you hit it right on the head, literally. That's why people take drugs a lot of the times to escape this the red pill life and stay in the blue pill zone so they can just feel comfortable with this mundane life that they have to live day in and day out, night in and night out, not realizing that they can re-encode, they can change their reality, And that's why I wrote this book, because I wanted people. I saw so many comments. Like when we did a video one time, and you were saying, "I respect this guy because he's got a Rolls Royce." It was a while ago. We did a video together, and I was just going back and reading some of the comments. A Rolls Royce, and I thought this guy was conscious and all this. I'm like, no, you guys got the wrong idea of what conscious is all about. If you look at all the ancient sages. If you look at the Buddhas and you look at Yeshua and Gandhi and all these people, they may not have had $1 billion in their account, but when you research these ancient sages from all around the world, no matter where they went, they always had abundance. Abundance followed them. They had clothes. They had people trying to serve them anything they want. Night and day and night, people were trying to serve them and feed them and clothe them and put a roof over their head and everything else. Why? Because they had the abundance mindset. And people are walking around here not understanding that we have to have and live and walk in the abundance mindset that you deserve the best. You deserve to have everything available for you when you need it. All your needs should be met. And abundance doesn't mean you got $1 billion in your bank account. It just means that all your needs are met when they need to be met and on time. You're not wanting or begging and hoping for anything. And for people who have a higher responsibility in this world in terms of how many people they can touch, lives they can touch, like you have a high responsibility because you have to whom a lot is given, a lot is required. I have a high responsibility. To whom a lot is given, a lot is required. I need more revenue to be able to touch more people. I can't do what I'm doing on the scale I'm doing it in a robe and slippers on a prepaid cell phone, and neither can you, There's levels to this thing.
Yeah, and you should be unapologetic about that. Because people that aren't helping are usually the ones that are judging. Most people with money aren't judging other people that have it. The ones that are worried about someone else's dollars because it ain't in their pocket and they want it. And they're usually mad about the reasons they don't have it.
Yeah.
And you're right. The more it's a heavy responsibility when you touch people. Pause. When you have a platform and people listen and you influence them. You can influence them to do the wrong thing for money, or you can influence them to do the right thing, and y'all all get paid together.
Right.
And, again, for me, I'm not hustling for this vibration. I'm hustling for the eternity vibration. You know what I'm saying? This is a very short period of time we're going to be in this vibration, in this form. I want to make sure that, my ancestors and wherever I get to after this, that's great. And I know that my trajectory is going to be determined by what I'm doing now. So I'm always investing in my future, not the immediate future. The one past the headstone. You know what I mean? That's the one that people should be thinking about, but people don't, because they can't understand it. They thinking like, as long as I'm surviving in this moment any way I can, self-preservation. What they understand is that's the test. This vibration, I think, is for test all day long. Because no one has a perfect life at all. Not one person goes through a trauma-free life. It does not exist. You're here for trauma, just to me, to see how you're going to deal with it. You just lost your Rolls Royce.
Yeah, no, I'm changing it because I want to show you something. What you were just talking about. See that behind me?
Yeah.
Legacy. That's what you're talking about up there. This one up here at the top, middle. Legacy.
I see it. Is that art? What is that?
That's art, yeah. I got the art. I got the success principles set up like the periodic table of elements. So I have success, legacy, vision, hustle, mindset, and greatness.
Oh, that's fly. Oh, that's your backdrop, right?
That's my wall. There's art on my wall.
That's real art on your. I was like, oh, that's dope.
Art on my wall in my house. Just in my office here. Yeah.
That's fly. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's why I pulled it up, because like you're talking about what you're talking about now is, and it's so, see, people need to hear this. You're talking about hustling for your legacy, for future generations. And so what happens a lot of times is people are stuck thinking about like, okay, when I get my paycheck next Friday, I'm going to do this, and pay this bill. I'm going to put some money on this. But the people who are thinking big numbers and legacy building, we're thinking, oh, this is how I'd like to see things happening to my family bloodline in 100 years, in 200 years, in 300 years. How do the elites run this planet and control us so well? They plan for eons at a time.
Yeah. They plan 100-year clips at least.
Yeah.
We're still this little program that we're in was strategically planned thousands of years ago, I think, based back before the Romans. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You know when it started? There's a book called The Gods of Eden, and it's by William Bramlett. The Gods of Eden. Is it called The Gods of Eden? It's called, The Gods of Eden. And so it's by William Bramlett. But in this book, he uncovers some of the Sumerian tablets that expose when the bicameral Congress was installed on this planet. Left wing, right wing. This is 6,000 years ago, when they installed inflation on the planet. So you would have, they introduced money on stone tablets. The stone was money, no backbite, nothing, okay? And you would etch into the stone IOUs, and we found over 1 million of these stone tablets with all the IOUs on them. So if I had a farm with goats, and the other guy had an apple orchard, he'd bring me 2 satchels of apples for 1 goat. That's the value trade-off, right? Exchange. Now, if he came and I was out of goats, I would give him a stone tablet IOU. You give me the apples, I'm going to give you this IOU. When you come back, you can get the goat. Guy goes away, he comes back, but there's been a shortage of goats, or some holiday came where everybody was buying up the goats. He's got a shortage of goats. The value of goats is scarcity. The value of goats has gone up. Now you got to give me 2 IOUs. The one you have only gives you half of a goat now. You can get, I'll give you half of a goat. So they installed this inflation system and taught it to humans 6,000 years ago. And we have the evidence of this in the Sumerian tablets. Wow. And so this is stuff that's still going on, obviously, right now. The politician system, the economics with built-in inflation, they've been running this game, like you said, for a very long time. And it's phenomenal how they did it, because it really has sustained.
Well, you know, the way I see this, and I've always looked at it like that, being controlled is a choice. You know, whether it's a conscious or unconscious one, to me it's always been a choice. And for those that want to be controlled or don't realize they're being controlled and are all right with it, go ahead. I'm going to try to wake you up. But, you know, you're going to get in line. If you know, if that's what you want to do. You could be in a commercial airport or fly private. You know? See, again, I went to New York for a day a couple of weeks ago for my aunt's funeral. And I hadn't been in a public airport in a while. And when I went in, because of COVID, we were flying private wherever we went.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, I got to stand in line like everybody else.
Yeah.
And every second they're telling you where to go. And I'm like, this is necessary because millions of people walking through here.
Right.
Or else it'd be chaos.
Right.
So when there's a lot of people in one place, there is a form of control to keep everyone organized. But if you have a certain kind of enlightenment, you can fly private. You know? And I'm saying that, you know, not to say real, but in life. You can create your own bubble. If you're not breaking any laws, you really can live by your own rules. You know? And, you know, like I say, regardless of who's president, you know, whether it's Trump or Biden, I'm going to do all right. I'm going to be worried about everyone that's going to be controlled, because that's what they're there to do, control the ones that want to be. But I'm not waiting for the government to pay for my medicine. I'm not waiting for the government to pay for nothing. Matter of fact, for me, the government works for me because I pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the boss. But nobody looks at it like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a choice. Be controlled or be the controller. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a part of the masses, then you're going to have a master, period.
That's the exact conversation I had. Some people come over tonight, and the young lady wanted me to talk to her kids. They're adults, though, but they're young adults in their 20s, about manifesting and stuff like that. And I had the same exact conversation with them that you just brought up in terms of being controlled, understanding who's controlling, and living your life based off of your own rules, not what the other rules. I said that the government has us thinking that we work for them, and they work for us. The police got us thinking that they control us and we work for them, and no, they work for us. The doctor, the same thing. They try to tell you what you can do and you can't do. Sometimes they give you bad information. The doctor works for you. You should be telling the doctor, no, I checked this out. I want you to look into this better because of this or that. This is how I feel about this or that. And they can't shut you up, because guess what? You're paying them. They work for you. And we have to flip this thing around. Lawyers work for you. You can't let them dominate. We can't let these people dominate us anymore. Like, we have to understand, we're the ones in control. And when we really understand that, we'll have a much smoother life and we'll have more control over our reality. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was just talking about earlier today.
What you're saying is 100% right, but if you said that to certain people, that would make them scared.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us, and it's about narrative. So the only way to control muscle is brain, you know?
Right.
And to make someone stronger think that they're weaker. It's narrative. And you're right.
Yeah.
They give you this narrative, so it's so crazy that someone that actually works for you makes you think you work for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Crazy.
But it's you know, like I said, I've had issues with other cultures because of the entitlement. Like, even like in certain parts, like we bought a house in South Carolina from a racist and I paid this man cash, and he told me I gotta say thank you. I told that dude, go mow my lawn and get the out my house. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't believe the gall of this man, because he couldn't believe a black man came into South Carolina and bought that house cash and told him to get up out of there. He was actually offended.
Wow.
To the extent that he told my girl, I deserve an apology. And I'm disappointed. That's why I had to call this man and check him. Go mow my lawn, because it's my house now.
Right.
Leave my keys and get out. You know, don't ever talk to my girl like that again. You know what I mean? But it's the entitlement, the narrative, like, because, and you know, even to the extent that being a wealthy black man, another culture might say, I don't care how much money you got, you'll never be able to afford to buy white. You will never be white. The fuck, I don't want to be white. What are you talking about? That's the only thing someone broken white got is, but I'm still white. Like that, what the fuck does that mean? It's still a form of making you, of trying to make someone that has not $1 that lives in a trailer is going to be like, I'm still better than you because you wanted my, I don't want your skin. That's your narrative, bro. You want to be black. You want to know how to dance. You want to know how to fight. You want to know how to get the girls. You know what I'm saying? You want to know how to play athletics. You want to know how to shoot. The fuck out of here. But in certain places, they'll still make you, no matter how much money you got, you can't buy my skin. Nigga, I don't want to buy your skin. Nigga, I would never want to. I wouldn't take your skin. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But it's real funny. It's real funny to see a black man around some broke white people that still feel like they should have one up on you. Hilarious.
Yeah. Now, it's pretty interesting. You know, every neighborhood I've lived in for the past, I would say, 12 years, I'm typically, you know, one of the, you know, the only black or one of the very few blacks in the neighborhood. And I'm in nice places, obviously, and they always want to know, you know, what team I played for or play for, you know, or what band or group or, you know,
that one
either an entertainer or I'm an athlete, that's it.
Trust me, I say the same thing. Why? Because I'm black? But when they say it to me, I be real distracted. Why? Because I'm black? I'm an entrepreneur. You know, you're a published author. What you mean?
Right.
You know?
I tell them now, when they come up to you like in this, you know, neighborhood, what do you do for a living? I'm a scientist. Really? Yeah. Well, what science? Archaeoastronomy and astroanthropology. Oh, shit. You just turn around and walk away. This guy too smart for me.
Now you're above their pay grade. They done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go back to 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I could dig it, bro.
Yeah.
But my point to all of that is narrative. You know?
Yeah.
Even in the music business, they make you think that you need them and it's you. They make you give your culture to them to sell it back to you.
Yeah.
Just because you think, because they empower you or they validate you,
Right.
or give that makes it better. That gives you validation.
Yeah.
It's always about narrative.
Right.
And again, it's always about dreaming. I'm going to show you something. Follow me with this. I'm going to show you something real personal.
Yeah.
That every day, I'm walking to my personal bathroom. Every day, first little man. Hey, buddy. Say hi. Say hi to Billy. Say hi to Billy.
What's up?
My little man. I'm having fun with this. I get to raise this one.
I see the love, man. I'm happy for you, man.
And man, we worked hard, you know? And that's another thing. We lost the baby this time last year. A year later, we got a baby. We didn't sit in the dark. Look, this is the toilet. And look, here's my vision board. Everything I want to buy, And everything I'm going to sell on the toilet, bro. Every day. I'm looking at my dreams every day. Every day. I got to know my dreams so I can live it. And then once you have it, you got to be able to know that you're in your dreams so you can enjoy it. So I remember thinking about the day I'd be able to be on a Zoom, even though Zooms weren't as popping, and I could just walk by and see my baby, and now it's happening. So I get to really marinate it. I get to really enjoy it. Architecting your future is everything. It's everything. Knowing what you want your future to look like is everything. It's like you can't shoot a movie without a script. And life should be like a script. And if you live life by somebody else's script, then, you know, your dream becomes a nightmare. You might be in a horror flick. I don't like horror flicks. I like comedies. I don't want to be in a horror flick.
I want to be happy, man.
I want to be happy.
I want to be at peace. Yeah, you know? Exactly.
Somebody else's dreams is for sure going to be your nightmare.
For real.
You know? And that's why it's good to get with people that almost have the same kind of dreams.
Yeah.
So that when y'all doing the energy together, it makes it strong and it makes it happen quicker. And everybody's happy. When I win, you win. And you win, I win. When people are dreaming the same frequency, the same kind of thing,
yeah, and
it's from a pure place, there's nothing better than that. But you got to know the dream. Because then also, you got to know, because if it's not happening, oh, it's not my dream, this is a nightmare, I'm going to fuck up out of here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that's one of the opening line when you said earlier, architect of my life, you know, architect of your dreams. That's exactly the opening line on my song, Affirmations. You know, I am the architect of my life. And that is such a, people don't realize that's such a powerful statement. If you understand truly what an architect is and what an architect does, you are literally designing and the layout and the floor plans of how your life is going to be moving forward. You're the one in control. You're drawing out your destiny. Just like, you know, architect draws out a house and it manifests into a three-dimensional structure that somebody can actually live in or work in. Same thing. Your architect, become the architect of your life. And that's a powerful, powerful statement. A lot of people don't realize how powerful these words are and understanding the meanings behind these things. Like, you know, like I said, we got to get people out of this thought process that's just blah. And they got to start really understanding how much true power and control they have. I was telling somebody the other day that a human being has a lot of electricity and power inside the body. They're like, what do you mean power? It's like, there's no power, there's no energy inside of us. I said, really? I said, well, you have 35 trillion cells, and each cell has 0.07 volts of electricity. Multiply 35 trillion by 0.07. You got over 2 trillion volts of electricity in your body. We're powerful, energetic beings, but we think that we're weak, we have no power, we have no energy, you know, and we can't control anything, we can't think outside the box. But, you know, little by little, it's starting to get a little bit better. But what we have to do is we have to realize there's a lot of people out there now that as they're beginning to wake up, they're getting caught up, I think, really too deep in a lot of these weird conspiracies that just don't make any sense, and they're starting to get off track.
It's the algorithms.
They start going into all these weird things, you know?
It's the algorithms. The algorithms can get the best of you. Anything put in your face over and over again, you start to believe no matter what. You know, that's why these algorithms are dangerous in the wrong hands. But I'm a person that I can even feel the algorithms me like, oh, I'm getting caught in the algorithms. You know what I mean? Like I keep looking at the same thing. You know, even though most of the stuff I'm looking at is the things that are good for me, like what I want to buy or what jewelry I'm looking at. But I see them algorithms kicking in. If you love conspiracy, they're going to give you a lot of dumb ones. Some may be right, but a lot of them be kind of based on, you know, the wrong. So, the algorithms you got to watch. And you're right. That's why it's important for guys like you to showcase what woke looks like. It looks good in a Rolls Royce, in a nice big waterfront house, and everything that comes with it. You know, just like, you know, somebody will look at a drug dealer and see a Rolls Royce and say, oh, I want to sell drugs. Well, we'd rather somebody look at someone with a Rolls Royce and say, what's he doing? He's getting money from being smart. He's getting money from teaching. He's getting money from thinking outside the box. I could get a Rolls Royce doing that, then I'm going to do that. And that's what we need. And they have to see what it looks like.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's important.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I'm doing this Rolls Royce giveaway right now. So what I'm doing is I bought a new Rolls Royce because it was due for a new one. This one served me well, and I was like, okay, it's time for a new one. I'm gonna step out, make the big purchase. But then I had two Rolls Royces, so I'm like, wow. I said to my son, what am I gonna do with this one? Should I rent it out again? I was like, that's just too much hassle, I could just sell it. But I said, what if I raffle this car? I'll raffle this car. I'll take the proceeds and invest it into children and final notice electric bills for single parents, like single moms and single dads. I do it every year anyway out of my pocket. I use the revenue for that and increase how many people I can help. At the same time, give somebody a chance to win a car that's at least valued still even today at $150,000, even though it's a few years old. And they can take that money and they can flip it into real estate. They can turn that $50, that they raffle ticket into maybe a real estate deal that turns them into millionaires by flipping real estate. They can get into the stock market or cryptocurrency. They can invest into their own business and build up their inventory or their stock and develop a mobile app, whatever it is. And they can parlay that money into something that can be of benefit to themselves, put their kid through college, whatever they want to do. But I think it'll be a great benefit for somebody to get their hands on that opportunity, a card they could take and instantly turn it into instant cash. Probably in the most cases, a lot more money than they had at the same time at one time ever in their life. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah. It's definitely a good model and makes sense and it's smart, and it's luxury,
Yeah.
It's luxury.
Yeah.
I like what's happening these days, consciousness, intelligence, doing the right thing is starting to come with luxury, not sacrifice,
Exactly.
and not compromise either. And that's a good thing. And as long as we keep passing that gift along, the wealth continues. Because that is the wealth, helping people and spreading that love. But you can't love nobody else until you know how to love yourself. Impossible.
Right.
You can't love yourself. How can you love somebody else?
Exactly. Well, you get on an airplane and the stewardess says to you, in case of decompression, the oxygen mask may fall. If the oxygen mask falls, make sure you put it on your mouth first and get oxygen flowing before you help somebody.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly.
That's the analogy right there. And one thing I can attest to, Dame, is the fact that since I've known you, since I've been around you, your true mission really is you give people the blueprint and you help a lot of people. Sometimes people get misconstrued because they see, the way that you respond or the way you answer questions, or your passion comes off to them as sometimes as anger, but they don't really know you. They don't really understand where you're really coming from. You give the blueprint out to everybody, and you give everybody an opportunity. Because why? Because in your mind and also in my mind, there's more than enough for everyone.
Way more.
And the people have a scarcity mentality. They don't understand that.
And what people should understand, if you help someone become powerful, then they can help you.
Exactly.
Or two powerful people together. I want to make partners. I like equals.
Right.
I love the fact that we talking like, yo, I got a Rolls Royce. I'm like, yeah, I just got a Rolls Royce. I love that talk. If you were telling me you just bought a Honda, I couldn't be like, yo, I'd be like, damn, let me show you how to get a Rolls Royce. You know what I mean? It's a whole different conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I love to see my brothers winning. I love it. I love to see my brothers winning on their own. And I love to see my brothers teaching others how to win. Those that have sold out and been patted on the head by another culture and get celebrated by the other culture, you hear they got money, but you never hear them teaching how to get it, right? I don't know why. Yeah. Those official people that's supposed to be so official, how come they don't teach you how to get it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because, they be like, yo, then you got to sell out your culture. You got to stab a couple of friends in the back. Got to, kiss some nobody's looking. Act tough in front of your culture, but act weak in front of the other culture. And I've seen it all with my own eyes. And that's the thing that I can't, and that's the reason why I celebrate what you're doing, and I always make sure everybody knows. But also, you dropping some gems about out of this world shit, you know what I'm saying? And the truth that's just not told, you know what I mean? So I love all of that.
Yeah.
I love all of that.
Yeah, the UAPs and the UFOs is the main topic right now. I actually have a workshop coming up where I have Luis Elizondo, that's the former Pentagon worker that has been exposing the fact that they're in possession of
spaceship
vehicles not of this world. Spaceships, basically.
They just said they got a patent. The Army got like a patent for one or some dumb shit. I was like, what the?
Yeah, they got the patent. The TR-3B, the Aurora project. They have a floating, anti-gravity flying triangle that has a rotator ring that operates on a ferrofluid vortex engine, and it's capable of not only flying multiples of the speed of sound, but it can even fly in space. It can make 90-degree turns. It creates this anti-gravity bubble around the actual vehicle so that it can make these weird maneuvers, but taking away the G-forces from the actual pilot. So the pilot doesn't have to experience those G-forces, so it can make these crazy maneuvers, and the pilot will never pass out, It
seems like that looks like the vehicles that the Army been chasing I'm curious to know, is that the government? Is those really...
I'm going to tell you what it is. So I'll give you a sneak peek. At this workshop I'm doing, I'm going to give you the login to this workshop.
All right, definitely. Let me know.
Releasing information that's going to blow people's minds that you haven't seen on any TV yet. Some of these projects that are supposedly these UFOs that are buzzing the marine ships and everything else, some of them, not all of them, some of them are ours. Okay?
Project Blue Light?
Blue Beam, people call it, but it's not. No, the Blue Beam is never going to actually happen. But they are going to do... You release our own alien reproduction vehicles that are going to seem alien, look, maneuver like alien, but really we own them. And let me tell you why. So we have gone around the planet. We, meaning the military-industrial complex coming from this country, has gone around this whole planet. We've already invaded everything: Nicaragua, Iraq, Afghanistan. We destroyed Vietnam. We went around this. We went around the planet. We made all the war money. There's no more money in wars. Wars are drying up right now. They don't want to go to war in Africa because there's no money for them there. So they're like, what are we going to do next? Oh, we need a space war. We need money. How are we going to keep this military engine running and keep these trillions coming in? So we need the Space Force. We need to put money into space weapons. And so they're going to inject fear by saying, it's a threat to our national security, even though these things have been coming here for millions of years and nothing ain't happened yet. They've been coming to nuclear power plants and nuclear bases and shutting down the codes and stuff like that. Not launching them, shutting them down. But they won't tell you that. What they want you to see is, it's a threat to us. We are now going to reroute $20 trillion into space weapons and spacecraft and blah, blah, blah. It's a new way for them to fund money or direct money into their new agenda and get the public's approval without having to siphon it under the covers and then have to answer to controversy later on. That's what it really is all about. It's all about generating revenue and keeping the war machine running. So
let me ask you a question. What's the explanation for not going back to the moon and saying, let's just go to Mars? I don't understand how you just skip the moon. How do you do that?
Okay, there's people on the moon. This is what it's all about.
This is what
People on the moon. Yeah, they were like, listen, guys, after we dropped that doggone bomb on the moon, they were like, okay, wait a minute, this is enough. You can't do this to us. We live in here. I have the black box audio from Apollo 11. The black box audio and the redacted printed statements from the verbal. They actually transcribed it into text also. And it says, I think it's Collins who says as they're flying over one of the craters, look at those concave, or I think it was convex craters, which means a dome structure down there. I bet the people down there never get out. And so there's people living there. When they went to the Apollo 10, I believe it was, Apollo 10 didn't land, it orbited the moon. And then it came back to Earth. This is a stage by step process in becoming, to getting to the landing phase. And yes, we did land on the moon for real, even though they showed fake imagery because they didn't want people to see what was up there. Technology and ancient structures are up there. That's what they didn't want you to see. So they gave you the Hollywood version to the general public. But when they went through the backside of the moon in Apollo 10, when you go around the backside, you got the body of the moon in the way of the Earth. And so the radio signal can't transmit. So it's a dark time. In other words, you're cut off from Houston. You're cut off from your home base. Mm-hmm. During that time, another comm link came into their earpieces, into their comms in the shuttle, into the capsule, and it was broadcasting music that was coming from the surface of the dark side of the moon.
Like Pink Floyd?
And this, huh?
Like Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon?
No, not Pink. Yeah, right. That's probably where he got this idea for the song from. But they said it sounded almost like a weird kind of a chorus and chanting. And this is now that audio tape has also been released. And
what?
you hear them freaking out like, who's on our comms? What's this on our comms? Do you hear it? Do you hear it? They're like, what is that? What is that? That's music. What is that? They were cut off from Houston and the Earth for about, I think it's 5 or 6 minutes before you can get back in comms range again. But so that they tapped into their comms on the dark side of the moon and transmitted that information or that signal to them, which I'm pretty sure is still being analyzed till this very day. But there's people there that I think that we were warned. Listen, guys, after I think Apollo 16 or 17, it was like, look, y'all can't come back here anymore. It's just not conducive.
And no other country tried to go there. No one's like, they all skip past it. And
we can't do it.
And you know what I would love, which would make more sense to me, is I want to know what China found up there, what Russia found up there. We already know Hitler was talking to Saturn. That's what I heard. And he already had all the shit back then. He was dealing with them a while ago. I want to know what everyone's intel has gathered. How many, and I'm really curious what's going on in the space station. What's going on up there?
Yeah, they're doing a lot of science experiments up there, but I also think that they are in collusion with some outside beings, aliens from who knows where. There could be an exchange program going on where we're exchanging stuff to them biologically, and they're giving us things. There could be a process of very gradual opening of communication and interaction. Because when you look at the ISS video footage from the live feed, you'll find that every now and then, all of a sudden there's UFOs around the ISS, flying under it, over it, behind it, and everything else. And if we can see it on the camera, then of course they can see the real true size of it up there, where they're at. And the fact that they haven't blown up the International Space Station, they haven't destroyed it, they haven't boarded it and commandeered the people or abducted them. These people aren't trying to hurt. They're watching us. Just like we go out, we meaning humans, we go to the Sahara Desert, we go to the jungles of the Amazon, and then we alien abduct animals. We find them and we target them and we give them a dart and we knock them out. Then we abduct them. We analyze their biology. Then we insert a tracking tag inside of them, put a tracking thing on their neck, and we release them back into their homeland. And then we watch them and we record how they act, how they interact with their others and their family members and everything else, and how their society develops. And that's what's happening to us. We're being watched and tracked the same exact way by people that are a million years ahead of us.
And for what I hear, when we try to hurt ourselves, they stop us from hurting each other.
Yes, exactly. That's happened multiple times. See, the thing that's incredible is, and this video was actually on Forbidden Knowledge TV, there's a famous press release that came out, a live press club that came out on CNN. It was in 2010, I believe it was, where these were former nuclear scientists, former nuclear codes security officers. In other words, the guy that had the security codes for the nukes, who used to activate the nukes with the codes, was there testifying that the UFOs came to the base in broad daylight and turned the codes off on the missile silos and deactivated all the nukes.
Damn.
Like, that's the message. Like, dude, y'all ain't gonna blow up this planet no matter what you think. We're not gonna allow it.
You're not gonna mess up our experiment. We watching y'all. Right. Like that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, that's what it's really all about, man. So these beings have been here, they've been watching, they've been tracking for a very long time. And before any real positive interaction, like we're just gonna land our ships in the middle of your city happens, they're waiting for us to grow up. Human beings, there's 7.7 billion now of us on this planet, and we're being controlled by less than 100 people. And until we take control of this planet, until we break down this divide and conquer invisible barrier that exists, because consciousness doesn't even have a race or a color. Until we realize that, and treat each other as equals and love one another, there's not going to be any mass landings in the middle of your city and, hey, nice to greet you and everything else. Because if they come down here, the first thing that we're going to do, our military is going to do, is try to shoot them.
Yep.
That's it.
And then they're going to have to hurt somebody. They're gonna just because they're scared. Because we scared all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's what's happening. Yeah.
Well, from what I understand, we're a very young race, you know?
Yeah.
Very young race, a modified race, trying to get some kind of independence of the brain.
Yeah.
And it's going to take experience to get there, it seems like, you know? But some of us are a little more enlightened than others, and some of us want to know the truth, and some of us do not. I do,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
The truth will set us free. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
Sure.
And economic empowerment is also a good part of freedom as well. You know?
Absolutely.
So all those things. So yeah, man, you know, I'm down. I definitely want to come to the workshop. You always dropping jewels. You make me smarter than everybody else that's going on now. We've talked about a couple years back.
Yeah.
So we're ahead of the game. You know, when I hear shit, I feel no fear.
Right.
You know, because I'm like, yo, they could have been did something. And also we have I have an understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel better. And it makes me more receptive to the evolution that I want to do, you know, and be involved with.
Yeah.
So, you know, we got a lot of big plans, Billy. You know, whatever else you want to talk about, I'm down. You tell me when. We should do this more often. You know, COVID's over. Let's get back outside. And I'm down, bro.
Yeah, we'll do it for sure, man. I got to come out there, sit down with you again, man. You know, let's knock out some new episodes and stuff, you know?
I feel like we have an episode that's not edited the last time he was here.
Probably, yeah.
Definitely is one that's not edited. And then we got the whole school, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely, when you coming back out here, bro?
Oh, man, I could probably come out there in August. I can get out there in August, man, and we can hang out and knock out a couple shows, maybe 3 shows at one time, you know?
Yeah, real easy. Also, you know, I bought a ranch out in Wyoming. So,
Oh, I saw that.
yeah, you got to come out. I ain't even been out there since we bought it. I mean, we renovated it because, you know, it's COVID and all this other shit. And it was cold. That was what it was. It's cold. But, yeah, we as soon as it got cold, we came back. It's cold out there. But you're going back out there in a minute. So it's all type of things we need to do. And, you know, let's keep talking, bro.
Yeah, for sure we got to, man. I'm looking forward to it. Congratulations on the baby again, man.
Nah, man.
I said congratulations.
Thank you, bro. Congratulations on your success. New houses, new cars, giving away cars, streaming services, books. Get that money, Billy. You know, my name is Billy. My artistic name is Billy Pablo III, you know.
That's right.
You know, we still rocking out. We perform, you know. Billy Carson and Billy Pablo. Holla back.
Yeah,
and then we got to start talking some NFT stuff, too.
Yeah, we got to do that. That'll be the next. Yeah, we got to jump on the NFT stuff. And I have my own coin coming out. The Forbidden coin is coming out in 90 days.
I already knew you had a coin coming out. Of course you got a coin coming out. Well, you know, I'm about to do something. I'm about to make a dent. Next week or 2, you're going to hear about it, you know.
Okay.
But the auction will be live. You know what I mean?
Nice. Let me know so I can put it out there.
I mean, you know, this one here is probably going to be for that 100 that could afford it. You know what I mean?
Okay, I got you.
Meaning it's like one of those, you know, we'll talk about it offline. But there's a lot going on with this NFT. You know, I'm on it. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm an artist, and you know an artist can really breathe over there well, in the right way.
Right.
And it goes back to that thing, and we've been talking about this. The dollar don't have no gold backing it no more, so anybody can make up a currency. It's the value you put on it. Period.
That's right.
You know,
Period. That's it.
been saying that. Why we fighting over a dollar that has no meaning?
Yeah.
Make up your own. Now niggas can make their own money up. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's where it's at. I'm putting my face on the money, man. Come on.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I'll take some coin.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Hey, man. All right, man. Hey, peace. I appreciate it. Love you, man.
Love you too, man.
If you want another amazing video with the one and only Dame Dash, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.